cast recriminations on one another, no it's your fault, no it's my fault, no it's their fault, and end up sticking one's head in the sand and facing potentially the same issues in 2 or 3 or 5 years' time, if not immediately today or tomorrow for other countries as well. This is what we're coming. This is a responsible proposal that no one seems to be discussing, although everyone recognizes it. It's the big white elephant in the room that everyone avoids, thinking that they can avoid it forever. We can't. The crisis has shown everyone that the Eurozone has an issue of lack of mechanisms for solidarity that are not there to help bad countries. That's not the point. They're there to ensure that the stability process that countries that have violated the rules takes place can take place with the same terms everyone else borrows, or else it can't.
So another way, there will be clear conditionality. Those who will decide, to your question, so will be the ECOFIN on the one hand and the member state on the other hand. The member states, you could say, encourage to go into these negotiations will be to compare to the alternative as Stavros described. And the ECOFIN's incentive will be to avoid that one single member state coming into severe trouble will spread speculation attacks to other member states. So there's a mutual interest here which goes together. But just one little extra addition. In the paper you will see so that the criteria are not only monetary criteria or deficit criteria we have laid down here, but also growth criteria, employment criteria, and social inequality criteria. So we are broadening out and we are connecting to the true values of the European Union.
Are there any further questions?
In the last, excuse me, Raymond Lowe of Radio and Television. In the last years, quite a lot of money has been poured into the International Monetary Fund to enlarge its margin of maneuver. Don't you fear that such a fund, where nobody is paying in, as far as I understand, your proposition will be in a weak position if it has to raise all the capital on the markets and nobody's paying in initially?
No, I don't think so, because the speculative incentive will no longer be there, because the signal is that no member state will be allowed to run into a default. There will be no default risk at the end of the day. And that kills, you could say, part of the speculation. And the other thing which kills the speculation part is that they know that when ECOFIN and member state X, Y, or Z agrees on the conditionalities, then the loan will be there. And for sure they have this mutual interest I just described to you. So one should not think in the moment of what you could say emptying a fund of some kind, but one should rather think in a mechanism which is ensuring us against speculative extra pricing.
Sorry.
Yeah. One question. How far would the conditionality go? Would it be like the IMF? Because IMF means you, as a government, you're basically out. The IMF would dictate or tells you what to do, and you get the money in tranches. Would that be the same system? Would you go as far as, taking the IMF conditions into this fund?
I think it will be as I said before, a combination of clear criteria. And the new thing here is that we do not only put into the criteria frame combating deficits on the public sector or the foreign balance. What we add is also, as I said, the growth potential, the social issues, and the employment issues. And then you will have the negotiation between responsible political leaders of governments as an alternative to technocrats going into it with no real understanding and responsibility in the back. It will be tough, that's clear, but it will be balanced, and it will be social, and it will be forward-looking.
And if I may add, we already have the conditions in the EU. We don't need someone else's conditions. We have the Stability and Growth Pact. If it's not applied correctly, we have mechanisms in the EU and provisions, and this is what's going on in Greece today. It's not a matter of getting someone else's recipe of how to consolidate your finances. We have this. What we don't have is the second part, which is at the same time an ability of Europe to support with loans those countries making those big changes in order to protect them from financial speculation. That's what we lack, and that's what this proposal brings to the table.
And to you could even imagine that private banks would go in and offer themselves loans on conditions competing with the EIB. You see, in that system here, where it is once and for all excluded that defaults on a member state will be reality, then the whole incentive system for the banking system will change also.
This is the final question.
Please correct me if I misunderstood you, but I think you said that no additional capital needs to be raised. So the EIB has certain ratio of its capital to the amount it can borrow, amount it can lend. So aren't you then afraid that giving loans to countries will crowd out funds for EIB normal activities?
No, I don't think so. As I explained to you, it will be in the form of a new, specific constructed trustee fund, right, which will be a specific actor on the market. The crowding out effect will only be in a situation where you could say there will be a competition on loans of this kind here, and I don't see that as the market looks like.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. We'll have a follow-up statement to this press conference within the hour.